Welcome to the Ports Garrison. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Welcome to the Ports Garrison. I'm Phil the Poet, and this is episode number 6 of the week that was, where I take a look back at any topical issues that caught my attention. This was calendar week number 8 of 2023, so sit back and walk with me through the things that caught my attention during the course of last week. Now, I saw where the executive director of the Integrity Commission, Mr. Greg Christie, was rejecting calls for his resignation. He said he had shown no bias during his tenure at the helm of this organization, no bias to any person, institution, nobody, so he sees no reason why he should resign. These calls for resignation are coming in light of the Integrity Commission's report on the Prime Minister, so there's pushback from that. Now, also Trevor Monroe, who is the executive director of the National Integrity Action, people are also calling for his resignation. Now, you see, some people are very selective, and we call for resignation when it suits us. The persons who are trying to prevent corruption, there are calls for that. But the persons whose names are called all the time, you don't hear anybody asking them to resign. Now, well, at least the opposition will oppose and ask for some persons in the government. But the Prime Minister, I think, needs to lead by example. And he needs to put all his cards on the table. You know, his name has been called in too many things. His finger has been pointed in too many times. Put all the cards on the table, deal with the issues, and let the chips fall where they may, because the head of the stream can't be muddy. Because while you were in a position, there was a similar incident with a minister who was facing similar allegations, and you then called for him to resign. Now, I keep saying it can't be one thing when you're in government, Mr. Prime Minister, and another thing when you're in opposition. It just don't work like that. Example. Now, I see where Dennis Meadows, formerly of the Jamaican Labour Party and Capri, has applied to represent the PNP in the next general elections in North Trelawney. Now, it's interesting that Mr. Meadows has ran for the JLP in that constituency 3 times, and he lost all 3 times. Now, I don't know if the 4th time would be a charm for him, so let's see if he gets selected as the PNP's candidate and then see where his fortunes take him. Interesting. Never a dull day in politics. And I see where the long-awaited Ville Royal talks were finally held. The opposition and the government reportedly met for 3 hours discussing issues of national security and constitutional reforms. And I understand that the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches facilitated this meeting. Now, the PM has pledged to ensure the continuation of these talks, which were stalled for some time. I hope the Prime Minister sticks to this, and I hope this becomes a reality. And I now hope that the opposition will name its members to the committee that will deliberate on Jamaica moving from the monarchy to a republic. So hopefully we get that out of the way and the process can get started. In my report last week, I reported there was a suit being filed in the Supreme Court by a murder convict by the name of Mervyn Cameron to prevent an extension of the term of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. It was alleged that the first extension she got was not gazetted. So they were saying that it's not legal since it wasn't gazetted. Now, the information came out in the course of the week that it was in fact gazetted in August 2020, so her appointment then was legal, even though there were voices saying no, you shouldn't extend her tenure. But Cameron is further claiming that it is unconstitutional for a second extension to be granted to any holder of the post. Now, I don't know where that will go, but we understand that they are thinking that the Prime Minister will give her an additional extension of her tenure. So we'll see where that goes. Now, a matter that never seems to go away is the SSL saga. And we've heard initially that the FBI was involved in it. Initially, the Minister of Finance said that the FBI was involved. And recently we heard something that countered that. The head of counterterrorism and organized crime investigation branch, who's an assistant commissioner of police, Anthony McLaughlin, stated that local law enforcement had the capacity to conduct the investigation and did not need the assistance of the FBI this time. Now, as I said, this was in direct contradiction to what the minister had previously said. Now, after that, maybe to save face, a statement was released to the media by the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Financial Investigations Division, which said that McLaughlin was specifically referring to the local aspects of the fraud squad investigation that led to the initial charges against Gina and Panton, and he wasn't speaking about the wider dimensions of the SSL probe. They said that FBI had been officially engaged in the SSL case since January of 2023. Now, who do we believe? I don't know. Now, speaking of Panton and SSL, I saw where one of her lawyers had made an application to the courts for the accused fraudster and former stock and securities limited wealth advisor to be placed in a halfway house or under house arrest, citing less favorable conditions in custody. This application was rightly rejected in my view. I mean, no special favors to her. You do the crime, well, the allegations or whatever, make the thing on this course and you go through the same procedure like everybody else. No special favors for you. No. And keeping with the SSL, it has been reported that they can no longer trade in securities listed in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The exchange is advising that effective immediately it has terminated its members dealers agreement with the SSL. Took them long enough. I don't know why they took so long. You could have prevented other people on the road from falling in the same traps like Bolt and others. But yes, finally, it's never too late, they say, for a show of rain. So, finally. Now, on the matter of agriculture, I see where the agriculture minister is urging farmers to increase yam production for export. And I suspect he's primarily thinking of yellow yams. Now, he claims that Bolt's assertion that yam made him fast. I don't even know if, I've heard that before, but I don't know if Bolt himself said it. Because I don't know if yam really makes anybody fast, because I was born and I grew up in the yam country. So if that was the case, then everybody around me, including me, will be fast, and that's definitely not the case. But the minister said this assertion is a major factor that led to export demand for the product outstripping supply in 2020. Now that is interesting because it's something that I buy regularly, yellow yams. And when I go to the stores, it's normally in not so good condition, and I understand it has to be packaged and shipped from Jamaica in time and all of that, so you don't get here as fresh. And when you go into the store and cut it and say, oh, it's good, and I said, no, you don't see what it looks like when it's good. And I got to buy it for about $4 US per pound, which would equate to about 60,000 Jamaican dollars per 100 weight. And when last I checked, a farmer in, say, Trelawney, they were earning 15,000 to 16, 17,000 per 100 weight. This is a big discrepancy between the producer and what the end man gets. I understand transportation and shipping and all of that, but the disparity is way too wide. Mr. Minister, it's something you need to look on, because it's 9 months these farmers carry that baby, for want of a better term. 9 months cleaning them land, planting, digging them yam hole, yam stick, planting yam head, reaping, transportation, all of that. And then at the end of the day, somebody make a big killing and then get the scraps in the right. I see where U.S. Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke and Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson has introduced a resolution in the U.S. House of Representatives calling for the exoneration of our first national hero, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And I said, bravo. And I'm fully in support of this. While I wasn't in support of the pardon, please, because you can't pardon somebody unless the person said they're guilty of something. And I'm sure those charges against Marcus was trumped up, so Marcus wouldn't, if he was alive, wouldn't be seeking no pardon. Full exoneration is what is needed, and anybody who can get behind this cause and support the cause in any way, I'm encouraging you. Lend your voice to the cause, because it's really a worthy cause. His name needs to be cleared once and for all. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no guilt on the part of Marcus. Um, Interestingly, I saw a story on the heading, well, I put it on the heading of health and fitness, when I was told that jogging access fees at the NWC Monas Dam is being increased from 4,000 per year to 14,200. Now, I understand why there's a cost to jog at the dam. Because there's some security involved. You get the security car park and all of that, so you have to pay. And yes, it's uptown and ostentatious and all of them things, but yeah, you have to pay for all that privilege. But what can I increase that? From 400 to 14,200? I make a quick calculation, that's about 350% increase after that. That is a serious increase to box cover. Serious increase. NWC. Well, I guess the people who jog up there can afford it, so let's see if they will buy. Now, on a subject matter that's near and dear to me, the whole issue of mining. I see where mining companies, two mining companies, have been appealing a court ruling that prevents them from mining in St. Anne and Trelawney. And I want to applaud the judge for this, because there have long been many protests, many calls of persons asking for the government to cease mining in certain areas. Now, the two mining companies, New Day Aluminum Jamaica Limited and Noranda Jamaica Partners, have appealed a court order blocking them from mining in St. Anne and Trelawney. They are arguing that their survival is under threat and the Jamaican economy faces major upheaval if they are not allowed to mine. They say it's a death to their companies. However, I see it as a breath of fresh air, a breath of life, a rebirth to the environment. They have appealed saying that the judge didn't grasp its impact on the economy, or the impact of their work on the economy. You see, Finance Minister Clark had said that Jamaica bauxite and mining sector generated between $300 and $400 million in foreign exchange over the past 2 years. Now, you have to do a balance and juggle. So you get the money at what cost? Is it worth the cost of the damage to the environment? You mine in some areas where the bones of my ancestors are laid to rest. It is a mining area that is critical to the water, the fauna and the flora of Jamaica. You can't touch them here. There's been many calls for these areas to be exempted from the mining. So yes, I hope the judge or whoever reviews this appeal will stick to the original ruling and stop them. You know? National Security Minister Horace Chang wants to end horseback riding on swimming beaches in Negril. And he says this is an effort to restore public order. I'm not sure how much public order these horses could be causing a disruption for. Maybe on the beach when people maybe want to laze or lie down, the horses are going back and forth. Any effort to curtail these, I mean, the activities of people hustling, looking them living off the beach, has to be done in a formal way. You sit down with people and you have a negotiation and see what they want, what best they can do. Best they can do, you don't just throw something down them throat. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something that there is a meeting of the minds, sit down across the table and negotiate it. And yeah, because some people livelihood depend on these things. And while on the subject of Chang, it is reported that Jamaica is to remove visa-free transit for Cubans. Currently, they are allowed to transit to Jamaica for up to 3 days. And the concern stems from the minister says there is a concern that a number of them are using that facility, which is the stopover or transit, to transit to Nicaragua and then on to the United States through the southern border. Well, they said Cuba have no issues with this change, so it will slide. But Jamaica, Cubans use Jamaica, I wonder where Jamaicans use, but hey, different story for a different day. A matter caught my attention that brought some unpleasant memories back, and that was an issue with the murder case of Gabriel King, and it is said that it is still at a standstill. Now, I don't know if you remember this young man that was killed in January of 2022 9-year-old young man was autistic, and he was found with his throat slashed, his body slumped on the back seat of his mother's car. See, the mother reported the car was hijacked and with the child inside. The murder was widely condemned, and the police was being encouraged and urged to bring the boy's killers to justice. Now, there seems to be a slight thing about it that bothers me. It seems a bit of a critical thing according to the police that's stopping them from doing the investigation properly. And that is that a mobile phone belonging to the child's mother, that according to the police has communication on the phone that could help untangle the mystery surrounding the murder of her son. But the problem is she's not willing to release the phone to the police then. Now, why would a mother losing a child like that, a 9-year-old child, not cooperate with the police in every way she can? Something not add up, something just not right. You know, just not make sense. But we'll see how that pans out. I see where the Kartel Regional Hospital is once again in the news. And it says that the bill to restore it is now at $10.5 billion. Initially, the cost for the repairs was at 5-point-something billion. Now it's at 10.5 billion, so it's doubled. The work was scheduled, work was started in 2019 and was scheduled to be completed next month, March 2023. It has now been extended to March 2025. Over budget, and over time, over cost. What would we be doing with these projects? Why we can't manage the projects then and manage them properly, finish them on budget and in time? This hospital is well needed. It serves the whole Western Jamaica. Come on. Something has to be done to sort this out. Well, people have to wait another 2 years to be able to use the facility again, the way it was intended to be used. Now, on a good note, I see in tourism, I see where Jamaica is being reported that it tops the Caribbean as the most connected destination to North America. It has with 35 main gateways from the United States and connectivity to 200 secondary airports in the US. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Now, there's a story that also caught my attention about a robbery. There seems to be a lot of robberies these days in financial institutions being done by our females. But this one is kind of funky. So it was reported in some of the major news outlets that there was a robbery at a bank where somebody went into the vault and took 35 million Jamaican dollars, put it in a backpack, went for lunch, jumped on a plane and didn't return. You know, lends a lot of questions. How would one person have access to a vault, and after the vault in a bank would have need at least 4 eyes, 2 pairs of eyes to be seeing that everything's been done properly? But then I heard recently that the police is claiming that no such report has been made to them. So I don't even know if the story is true or false. Now, the top story that grabbed my attention, number one on my chart for last week, is the postponement of the local government elections. Now, the government uses majority in the House of Representatives to pass legislation to further postpone the local government elections. The elections were scheduled to be held this month. They were postponed last year for a year. And based on their numbers, they have again postponed it until 2024 February. And this is in the context of a Prime Minister who said that he would fix election dates in his first 100 days of government. He's been in government now for nearly more than 2,000 days. Now, why is this not done? Interesting thing for me though is the opposition staged a walkout in protest. And when they walked out, a certain George Wright, who was a JLP MP, fell out of the JLP, now it says he's an independent MP. When there's a ceremonial opening of Parliament, he chooses to walk in with tries to walk in with the opposition, creating problems. Now the opposition walked out. He didn't choose to walk out with them. As a matter of fact, he went and took the seat of the opposition leader. And his former colleagues, or still his colleagues, urged the speaker to swear him in as the opposition leader. Take a joke and take this thing fine. You know? So you want to walk in with them. You don't vote with them. And then issues like these, you don't walk out with them. But the last local election was held in 2016, and they're constitutionally due every 4 years. And the last one was postponed in February last year. It's getting postponed until February 2024. This is the fourth postponement, despite the promises from the Prime Minister. Now, the issues, the reason has been given for the postponement has been debunked by the opposition. It really makes no sense. You're waiting on Portmore to become the 15th party in order to do it. Now, there is 15 divisions in Jamaica without representation. You're going to allow those people to go unrepresented for another period of time because the condition that you laid out are the reasons. Next year, February, you still could have the same factors. It just don't make no sense. Cost COVID, you held a general election in the middle of COVID. So I don't see why now at the end of it, you would want to use that as an excuse for not holding local government elections, which are duly due right now. It just don't make no sense. Again, like I said, Prime Minister, you must lead by example. And when I look at the faces of those people who come in, who walked into Parliament and the Senate to defend it with a straight face, I have to shake my head. Now in the field of entertainment, I see where incarcerated DJ Vybz Kartel, it was reported last week that he had lost his bid, his final appeal in his murder conviction had been turned down. There was a lot of uproar about it, people saying he's going to die in prison, and a whole bunch of stuff. Now, it was later clarified that that wasn't the case, and that what was thrown out is the request of his lawyers to introduce new evidence in his appeal. I think they wanted to introduce new evidence on phone tapping and so on, and that aspect of it was thrown out. So his appeal will still go ahead, just not with the additional evidence. So people made a big thing about that, but then we said, no, we don't get it right. We're still in February, and it's still reggae month, and there are many, many events being held were held in Jamaica during the course of last week. Many and varied events to honor the month, to recognize the month, or the theme of the month. One of the events that was held was the much promoted Lost in Time Festival. It was staged yesterday, Saturday, February the 25th, at Oak Gardens in Kingston. And it featured artists like Leila Ike, Mortimer, Jesse Royal, Jazzy Lees, Naomi Campbell, Yardcore, Ras I, Samori I, Tessellated alongside Protege, who I think was one of the main sponsors, organizers of the event. From all accounts, it was a success. Now to sports. Yesterday, again, February 25th, saw the 46th staging of the Gibson McCook Relays, which was held at the National Stadium. This is the Caribbean leading relays carnival, and it came back to its original format after a short meet last year, which saw finals only and lasted just 4 hours. So this time they had a full-fledged carnival, and people must be celebrating their victories by now, and those who last month were licking their wounds and planning on how to come again. I see on the football, the Reggae Boys will face Trinidad and Tobago in 2 upcoming friendlies in March in Jamaica. And the head coach, Al Grimson, does not think he needs to be in any great rush to register his first victories in 2 upcoming friendlies on home soil. Now, his 2 previous games, game against Argentina, I think we lost 3-0, and then against Cameroon we drew 1-1. So this is his first time go on local soil, and he's not in any rush to win these games because he wants to use these games to see as many players as possible. Now, I have no issue with that because it's practice now. Fix it for the big thing. So let's see how that goes. Let's see if he can pluck any gems from out of the rough. Can't talk about football and don't mention the Premier League. Arsenal still sits on top, still being chased by the 2 Manchester teams. And my Chelsea, the least I can say about that, the better. Still stuck in 10th, and it's not easy being the Blues. Now, I can look at the clock on the wall and it's time for me to say goodbye. reached the end of the episode, and I want to thank you for the time you took to watch this video. Time you took to like and subscribe, and to share it. And I want to wish you all the best for the coming week. Keep safe, and until we meet again, it's one love, manners, and enough respects. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.